Hello everyone, this is Marcel. Welcome to my channel. Good morning. Today I want to discuss Carousel-Riders, although an appropriate title for this video may have also been slut-shaming, but the digital thought police are mere inches away at all times. So, it's interesting lately when I publish a video, it's green for a brief amount of time, then it goes to gold within the first, 24 or 48 hours. And it stays that way until it dies off and nobody sees it anymore, and then it goes back to green again. It's like a convenient little conveyor belt that demonetizes the video while it's trending. It's really sneaky when you think about it. They don't have to demonetize a person's entire channel. There'd be an uproar. You only have to demonetize the one video people are actually seeing. On to the topic. So, Carousel-Riders. Women going around and basically hooking up with as many men as they possibly can for various reasons, whether it be to advance their careers, their social status, their financial situation, most likely crushing men's hearts along the way. Is there anything natural or normal about that? It's extremely common in today's society, but supposedly we're not allowed to criticize them for it because men do that too. They go around and screw women and get praised for it like they're champions. And since both of the genders are identical, they should be allowed and praised in exactly the same way because truly women just want to be like men. Okay, so to start, I'm going to break this down in two different things. From one perspective, I'm going to look at it biologically, so there's a bit of a science lesson here. And then on the other perspective, I'm going to look at it socially and explain it from that direction. Yes, there is a difference between men and women in regards to having multiple partners. And I'm going to prove it through comparison with nature. A while ago, I heard a quote. I want to say that it was Turd Flinging Monkey, but don't hold me to that. May have been Sandman. Both awesome channels. Go check them out. I'll put some links down below. So he said, in regards to this topic, that a key that can unlock any lock is a master key. A lock that can be unlocked by any key is just a shit lock. And there couldn't be words more true. I don't remember which video it was in, but that comment really stuck with me. Looking back, probably about 90% of the girls that I've ever dated have cheated on me to one degree or another, whether it be emotionally or physically. And it's almost hard to say which of them is worse, though the end result is essentially the same. Basically they would cheat on me, something bad would come of it, and it ended up being my fault. No real surprises there, right? So first things first. For those of you that don't already know, I'm studying biology. In essence, a branch of it. Prior to that, in the beginning, I was looking more into psychology. I wound up veering away from it. I find myself studying the students, studying biology. It's kind of entertaining. Picture this dusty old professor up front talking about how these different little birds interact socially with each other, and the people in the audience are listening and saying, wow, they're just like little people. And I kind of chuckle and think, no, it's more that you're like them and you just don't realize it. That humans are not novel creations. They follow patterns that are all over the animal kingdom. The things that make humans unique is their self-awareness and their social interactions, their societies that they create. That's really all it is. You boil that away and you just got animals. Now, that is not that I'm taking away from how unique and remarkable it is to look at humanity. It's just disingenuous not to point out the obvious patterns and the similarities between humans and the animal kingdom. So take those little birds that the professor was talking about. Let's give a quick example here. The female bird can only become pregnant once. She gets her eggs, she gets pregnant, and after a while she lays the eggs. And depending on the species of bird, the guy either sticks around or he does not. To keep this kind of surface level, let's just point out some pretty common things that are seen. It's common to see male birds making offerings of items to try and woo the females. It's common to see them building nests for them. It's common to see the female encouraging the male to stick around as long as possible because the extra resources he acquires gives a better chance of survival for the offspring. Considering she can only get pregnant one time, there's no advantages to having multiple male suitors. Her genetics get passed down the one time during that cycle, whether or not she's had one partner or 500 partners. But there is a much higher risk of infection, as well as territorial risks like the new suitors coming in and destroying the eggs from the previous males. You could say removing genetic competition. There's conflicts. Since they typically don't store the genetic material from the males between cycles, there's no advantage to it, so it's not warranted. Arguably, in that scenario, the female bird whoring herself out is unnatural. Then you look at the male bird. He's got options too. He could have one partner and pass down his genetic material one time, invest all of his energy into that offspring, or pass it on to several partners and diversify the possibilities of that genetic material getting spread throughout their community, through their society. The possibility of having 500 partners greatly increases genetic success, and considering that less biomass is transferred from the female to the male, the risk of infection is lower than that of the other way around. Though still present, it ultimately comes down to genetic fitness, that having, 100 offspring with similar traits is better than having one. So ultimately, seeking out several partners exhibits an advantage and is therefore natural. Situations in which the male bird sticks around are typically where it creates a greater situation for his offspring, perhaps even exclusivity to that female. So she sticks with him in exchange for him sticking around and helping to take care of the chicks. It also allows him to fend off competitors that would want to destroy his genetic offspring. So in essence, it's a trade-off, a balance between the two options, spreading more genetics out or ensuring that that one set of genetics is guaranteed a good life, a better chance of survival. Then you have humans. Typical pattern here. They set up a nesting area, be it a car, house, nice white picket fence. The male creates a living space for the female, something to imply genetic superiority, set himself above other males. That is, of course, including his appearance, plumage, if you will. Female can still only get pregnant once during a particular cycle, so there's no advantage in having multiple suitors. Yet again, the male is given the opportunity to either spread his genetic material through several females and give off multiple offspring, versus investing a significant amount of his energy into the one female in exchange for exclusivity, in return for access to the resources that he provides. In essence, if you stay with me and help me raise these kids, protect them from competition and whatnot, I will give you exclusive access to my reproductive capabilities. So says the female. At least that's how it should work. Now, if you inject in an artificial scenario that disincentivizes the female from keeping her end of the bargain, say, for example, she's guaranteed access to resources regardless of whether or not she stays faithful. Protection and all that is assured, given no repercussions to making the choice to trade up whenever possible. There's no incentives to do otherwise. It's no longer a balanced system. It's not really much of a shocker that it wouldn't be long before this whole concept of being allowed or encouraged to sleep with as many men as possible would come up. From their perspective, it eases the transition from a society that discouraged having multiple male suitors because there's no advantages to it, to a society that allows having it because the advantages are guaranteed regardless. The way I see it, it is not the sexes becoming equal. It's one side not having to put up their end of the bargain. They want their cake, they want to eat it too, and they want it in their favorite flavor, plain and simple. So that is my thought process as to why slut-shaming women is natural. What do you think of my analogy? Do you agree, disagree? Is it flawed? Did I miss something? Let me know down below. I want to hear what you have to say. If you enjoyed this video, like and share it. If you want to hear more content like this, subscribe. Until next time, this has been Marcel, hoping you all have an awesome day.